Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians. DJ Hilson here. Happy to yet again take part in a wonderful program that we have in store for you today during the lunch hour. And I think what's most important is that we get to highlight a topic that is probably part of the heart and soul of what makes Muskegon the way it is, and that's the manufacturing community. And I am certainly honored to be accompanied today by a gentleman who is a longtime participant, if you will, in the manufacturing community, and looking forward to having him educate not only myself but you as well as to what his particular company does and why it's important for Muskegon County, not only Muskegon County but the state and the world. So, Peter, welcome, and looking forward to our conversation this afternoon. But first, I'd like to formally introduce our guest today. And again, I put on my old man glasses to do so. Peter Hungerford is the Chief Strategy Officer at ADEC Automotive. ADEC is a global Tier 1 automotive supplier with locations throughout West Michigan. ADEC's core values include people, products, profits, and community. Peter has served the organization for over 20 years and has held a variety of roles in sales, engineering, R&D, supply chain, operations, and administration. He also serves on the Global Business Board of Directors, including involvement with the China and India businesses. Peter, welcome to the program. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the invite.
So I want to start hopefully with what I'll consider to be sort of a softball question. They get tougher as the minutes tick on here, but we'll start with a softball one. And really, it's explaining to Rotarians, what does ADAC do, and how far into the world does it reach, and why is that kind of that global reach important?
Yeah. So ADEC Automotive, we're a Tier 1 automotive supplier, as you mentioned. And, roll the clock back in history, we only served the North American original equipment manufacturers, Ford, General Motors, Chrysler at the time, now Stellantis. Our primary products are interior and exterior door handles. So it's just one of those products that you don't realize, someone makes, but yet, if you drive often and you own a vehicle every day, you use it, you get in, you're touching our product if it's from one of those three. Over time, our customers have changed and the market has changed, where that same product that we used to just design and engineer in Michigan for the North American OEMs, now those products are used across the globe. We'll do the design and engineering and the manufacturing for North America and South America. And then we have a global alliance that we share these designs, and they manufacture in Europe and they manufacture in our joint venture, our alliance operation in China, in India for that matter. And more so, our customer breadth have changed. So now we do business with Honda, we do business with Volkswagen. Our India operations, we're looking at doing business with Mahindra and Tata. So the landscape has changed quite a bit. Our product, even though it's designed and engineered here, it's used everywhere. The product has evolved where there's more and more electronics in the door handle, whether it's you're trying to get in and it recognizes you and it opens when you touch it. It also has quite a bit of engineering around it because the door handle interfaces with the vehicle to protect the driver and the passengers in a crash situation. So we have to do quite a bit of engineering there to meet all our customers' criteria, both from the technology preferences that they have, but also from the safety environment as well.
That's fantastic. I know now that the door handles on my Jeep Grand Cherokee have come probably from Muskegon, and I will say that I do appreciate the fact that when I touch the door handle, the doors unlock. That is quite a feature. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Let's talk a little bit about certainly you've talked a lot about the global impact and certainly the impact in the automotive industry, but how does that then kind of equate to how you treat the Muskegon County community? Because as I read your introduction, obviously one of the things that ADEC is very proud of is community. So how does that roll back into Muskegon County?
Yeah. We have in our Muskegon operations, we have over 800 team members in these operations. And our goal is to create a work environment that's safe, that's welcoming, that is respectful of every role in the organization, regardless of title. We all have a role, and our business doesn't function if we don't respect the role of each person. So, there's a community within our business, and that's what we pride ourselves on as our culture. Who are we as individuals? What are our core beliefs? As we've progressed over time, we try to find those areas to give back into the community, whether they're philanthropic organizations or supporting our team members in times of need. But we try to align that giving and that effort to those organizations and or efforts in the community that our team members associate with. So it could be education, it could be kids' food basket, it could be a variety of things, but we want to make it meaningful for our team. And, it's a combination of both, financial giving and the giving of time, both of which are valuable to a lot of these organizations. But again, what we try to do is recognize we have that internal community, which is our culture, and we try to align the things that we do outwardly with the needs of our team members, so that the community where they live and work is represented and can benefit from the business and our collective efforts.
Well, certainly as a member of the community, I appreciate that philosophy, because I'm sure that your employees appreciate that, and probably makes them more motivated to give back to the community in which they live and work. So hats off to you guys for that, passing that along. So
Thank you.
As technology changes, and certainly as the automotive world evolves, how is it that what ADAC does, how is it that you stay relevant, not only certainly on a national level, but on a worldwide level? What's the future look like for ADAC to stay relevant in that marketplace?
I think technology is changing fast, and I'll touch on two things. There's our process technology. How do we stay relevant? How do we stay competitive on the global scale? And then our product technology. How do our products fit with what our customer needs are? And our customers, again, being Ford, General Motors, Stellantis, but even more so, their customers, what I'll call the consumers. What are their needs? So I'll start with the latter first. As I mentioned before, the exterior door handle, the interior door handle, and frankly, the vehicle is becoming more and more a consumer electronic device than it is just a machine for transportation. So you have infotainment, you have, like you were talking before, you have your key fob, you walk up to the door, it makes it convenient to get into the vehicle when you don't have to fumble with your keys and find the key lock, especially if it's frozen over in the winter or something like that. Those kind of features have a stark utility to them, which has made owning and operating a vehicle much easier. Where that goes, you can see a world kind of like Uber, where you call an Uber, and it's much car ownership isn't the same as it was years ago. There's a lot of talk about this mobility revolution, and car sharing revolution, where someone might own a car with other people, and you need to make it convenient for people to own a car, or multiple people to own a car and use it when they want to. So part of our technologies of getting into the vehicle could be granting access on your phone. It could be your phone itself being the key, because that way it's not one physical thing that you always have to have in your possession. You could transfer authentication on your phone and enter in your vehicle. So for our products, where we're staying relevant is we've invested a lot in electronics and in hardware engineering and software engineering, where our products, again, 10 to 15 years ago, were purely mechanical products. And we've had to evolve over time, and that's really in the early stages of its advancement. From a process standpoint, we've had to change the way we manufacture, and this concept of Industry 4.0, where you have a connected factory, so you have data to highlight, where your efficiencies can be found, highlight when the process is getting out of control, but then also the application of automation. But I'll say the smart application of automation, because there are still things that humans do better than robots, frankly. Now, there are plenty of things that robots can do better than humans. They can do math faster, they can do repetitive motion time and time again. But, problem solving, communication, trying to decipher what's really happening, working among a team, maybe someday it'll evolve there, but in the short to medium term, that's where human beings are applied best. So we're trying to evolve our processes to embrace automation, but also find the place where human beings are best allocated and use what's best in the human being in our process as well.
That's some fascinating stuff right there. I mean, I can't imagine with everything that changes in technology and design and engineering, how on top of it you guys have to be in order to stay competitive. So hats off to you for that too. I want to focus in on, certainly as I'm sure things were kind of crazy for you all during the pandemic, and there are a lot of changes happening during that time frame. One of the biggest I can only imagine was the recruitment and retention of good talent. And obviously, as a guy who came to Muskegon 20 plus years ago, and now I don't want to leave Muskegon. What's it like for you now? Let's say as we come out of this COVID stuff, how is it? Is it difficult? Is it challenging to really find good talent and, more importantly, retain good talent in your industry?
It is, and I think it's tough for everyone for a variety of reasons. As I mentioned before, one of the things that we really believe in is having a culture that people will choose to be part of our team. We have to recognize, and I think many employers do, that the potential employee has a choice as well. They get to choose where they want to work, and they can choose to work in an environment that respects them as individuals, that recognizes what contributions they can make, try to use their gifts to the best of our ability. And if you embrace that, I think once someone decides to be a part of your organization, it's a greater probability that they're going to stay. Now, even with culture, sometimes you have a very talented person and just the personalities don't mesh, right? It's not like it's 100%. But by focusing on culture, we create that environment that hopefully we can draw people who have similar mindsets, work ethics, etc. And once they're here, they will stay. But, just the overall pool of potential team members, it's less than it was in the past. Again, for a variety of reasons. And you read plenty of articles on maybe team members or past team members who, just got into the routine of coming and working in the factory, and now they just want something different. So I think trying to tap in a unique way to alternative styles of work, whether it's part-time, whether it's, non-traditional shifts, whether it's, students who are just leaving high school and are kind of in that gap period before they continue their education. There's just a lot of value that the business that we have can provide for, whether it's a person just, leaving high school, whether it's someone taking a break from college, whether it's a returning citizen, someone, coming back into the workforce. The cool thing about manufacturing is there's never a shortage of activity. If you want to try something new, there's all sorts of things, whether it's, learning how to do the assembly process or working in the trades with tool making and equipment making. And like I said, robotics and the new technology. So there's a variety of opportunities. It's finding those team members who really have that desire to want to learn that and being a part of our team for a while. But I think it is, the opportunity and the culture matter. And you just got to make the potential candidates who want to be part of our group aware of what we have to offer.
Fantastic. Well, so for you Rotarians out there, I'm going to make an assumption that you probably have some openings there at ADAC and looking for some able-bodied folks to come and fill those?
We do.
Good. Well, we've got about 5 minutes left here, Peter, and I want to at least try to end this conversation with what the future holds for ADAC. So let's do two parts. What does the future hold for manufacturing / ADAC, and what are the challenges that you see in the next decade or so?
Yeah. Well, I've touched on a few of at least what we can foresee as best as possible, kind of the future for ADAC, and that is, continued automation, connecting of data, trying to be smart about our resources and how we use our resources. We can see the electrification of the vehicle and the mobility movement. We still have to be cost competitive on a global scale. I think many of those things we've touched on a little bit, but the challenges feed into are not just feed into them, are an outcome of those. So a couple of the big challenges that I see are one, the changing and the reinventing of supply chains. If the past year or two have shown us supply chains were pretty fragile, and a lot of Western companies have relied on Southeast Asia and low cost countries for a long time, and the value proposition is becoming less and less when you throw in geopolitical issues, which I think are going to get more and more intense. When you throw in transportation, the cost thereof and the time thereof, you throw in currency fluctuations, the value proposition of just going to the place of low-cost labor, you have to really think about it. And that move from global supply chains back to regional supply chains, I see it as a real opportunity for companies to stabilize and frankly secure the goods that they have. With us as a global organization, we can do that in the different areas of the world. As I mentioned, automation, I also think a big challenge for many of us is going to be relinquishing control to machines. That's a hard thing to do, but they're getting smarter and smarter and more capable and more capable. And like I said earlier, there's still a place for the human being, but there's also that place for machines, and let them do what they do well, and kind of giving up a little bit of that control to allow the machine to do its thing. I also think embracing sustainability is going to be a difficult thing for many manufacturers. I think we all want to keep our planet healthy. We all want to leave this world a better place for our kids or grandkids, but doing that in a reasonable way that doesn't jeopardize the viability of the business becomes the challenge. And I think what many companies are going to face is, if these requirements come too quickly, how do you do that in a what I'll call a sustainable way? Not the sustainability that we're talking about, but in a sustainable way that allows us to adapt our business, protect the planet, but make sure that we have a viable business for ourselves, for our customers, and for our employees. I see those as some of the big challenges.
Well, listen, I certainly don't envy sometimes the positions that you guys have to face, or the challenges that you have to face, because obviously the mode of transportation isn't going to change, anytime soon, and we're all going to want to be able to get in our cars and go where we want to go when we want to go. So I mean, it's a unique position to be in, but I'm really appreciative of the fact of guys like you and companies like ADAC can ride out a pandemic and still kind of maintain their roots and their foundation here in Muskegon County. So that's just wonderful to hear. And Peter, I want to thank you for being a part of our program today. Really very informative. Certainly from my standpoint, I've heard ADAC's name quite a bit. I just was never familiar with what you did. And so I appreciate learning a little bit today myself. So thank you for the time and being a part of our program today. I really appreciate it.
Hey, you're welcome. I think we consider ourselves having two homes. We have a headquarters in Grand Rapids, but we have some big facilities in Muskegon. So a lot of us feel Muskegon, right at home at Muskegon, I'll say. So thank you for the invite. Thank you for allowing me to comment here.
You are absolutely welcome. Well, Rotarians, there you have it. Just a little peek behind the manufacturing curtain. Look forward to the next time that I'm able to moderate the next program. And as always, thank you to Mike Vogus for putting this together. And guys, have a great day and serve well.